Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for joining. This is one of the webinars that we're doing in a six-part series of monthly webinars that we're hosting here at Blue IP. We've done a couple of them already. I think they've gone pretty well. I think the responses that we're getting from the attendees, whether they're partners or end customers, have been very, very favorable. So we've got some exciting topics coming up, and we also have a very exciting topic that we're interested in presenting to you today. Essentially, the topic of today is how to make money with cloud communication solutions. There's been a major shift in the communications technology industry over the past 10 years, and we're going to talk a little bit about that shift in technology, and also touch on the business side of the technology and how to position yourself as an integration firm in going to market with these different solutions. So my name is Joseph Fernandez. I am with Blue IP. We're going to go ahead and get started. So in order to really understand and to evaluate and analyze the industry over the past 10 years, you really got to go back to 2003, 10 years ago. Doesn't seem that long ago, but it definitely was. Back then, a cutting-edge solution was an application-based phone system. It was an on-premise deployment, likely a server of some sort, either an NT40 or 2000 box. It was a product that had very strong APIs, software developers kit, that you could actually do integrations with other back-end applications with. Back-end databases included Oracle databases, SQL databases, and other ones. But exchanging data and exchanging information from one solution to the next was not overly complex. A lot of the solutions that were being deployed were VoIP solutions or a hybrid, perhaps a VoIP / multi-line digital or VoIP / analog, some pure analog solutions and some pure VoIP. But during that time in 2003, the industry was still rapidly changing over to VoIP. So there were a lot of hybrid systems that were deployed. No matter if you were an Avaya integration firm or Avaya, yourself, working for the manufacturer, Nortel, Cisco, Mitel, ShoreTel, Toshiba, or what have you, all the solutions were pretty much in the same category. They had good, strong applications. There was some sort of application box or CTI application that worked with the phone system. The phone system could have been totally based on a Windows platform or even a Linux platform. Back then, Cisco was still kind of a cub in the woods in the voice side of things. They had just recently entered the market a couple years prior to that, so they were still cutting their teeth, if you will, back in those times. The typical deal back in 2003, if you're going to market with phone systems and server-based phone systems, the typical deal looks something similar to this. You had, for example, if you had a 35-user deployment, retail to the end customer was about $1,000 per phone, or a total of $35,000. So if you had 35 employees, after you actually proposed a solution and included hardware, software licenses, installation, labor charges, training, you were right at about $35,000. The dealer margin for this type of product was about 35 points of margin. Could have been a little bit higher, a little bit lower, but for the most part, you're right in about your margin being about $12,250 on a $35,000 sale. The typical deployment lasted about 3 weeks. After closing the deal with the customer, interviewing the customer, understanding the application, ordering the hardware, and staging it and deploying it, training, and and walking out, it was about a 3-week process. So not a bad product to go to market with, not a bad product to build a business on, people were selling a whole heck of a lot of these things. So it was definitely interesting times and good times to be in this business. So that was then. If you fast forward now to 2013, everything is cloud enabled. No matter what application you're looking at, whether it's a CRM application, database application, phone system, ERP system, order processing system, whatever it is, it's cloud enabled, or the customer is asking you to enable it for the cloud. So now what we have is we have a lot of different types of applications out there. For example, you have a Broadworks phone system, a carrier-based phone system or soft switch designed and engineered for the carrier space, designed to support millions of phones, as opposed to a premise-based system that will hit its maximum capacity at about 1,000 phones. So with products like Broadworks, manufactured by BroadSoft, this product has actually enabled carriers to actually obtain the product, build out a geo-redundant carrier network, and go to market with a hosted PBX solution. So not only are these providers providing minutes, toll-free numbers, local and long-distance minutes, but they're also doing a very good job at deploying hosted PBX systems for end customers as well. The ability to couple the phones with minutes is very advantageous, and it actually created a monthly recurring revenue stream for either the reseller, agent, or the provider themselves. This product offering has enabled resellers to reduce the amount of hardware that they had to inventory. With premise-based systems, a reseller or value-added reseller of, let's say, a Toshiba manufacturer, they had to inventory a ton of hardware. There was cards, there were line cards, station cards, there were licenses, there were voicemail boxes, there were voicemail servers, there were just a whole run of hardware that had to be inventoried. These days, it's a lot less. I mean, we're talking about 30%, maybe even less. These days, the deployment, there is no premise-based box that's sitting out at the customer site. You have a router, you might have a PoE switch, and phones, and that's pretty much it. So, and what's more, you could actually, as a reseller of a Broadworks platform, you could actually order all the hardware, all the phones to be pre-provisioned by the distributor and drop shipped out to a customer site, which basically means the phones are ready to go as soon as they're plugged into the LAN. And all you have to do is, as an installer, is go out and train, or maybe not even go out. There's about 70% of the partners that we do business with don't even go out on site to actually deploy a phone system now. So the deployment, the configuration is all done in a controlled environment. There are some new factors that have been introduced, like broadband, LAN and WAN hardware, phones. There's support for multiple types of phones, whether they're Polycom phones, Cisco phones, Panasonic, or anything else that's SIP.2.0 compatible, and everything is a monthly recurring revenue stream. These products, these carrier-based solutions or soft switches, are very expandable and customizable as well. A couple of years ago, these solutions have really started kind of shaping up from an expandability standpoint and customization standpoint. There are now very, very advanced APIs, cloud-based APIs that are designed to integrate with other cloud-based applications, CRM applications like Salesforce, NetSuite. There's a number of cloud-based CRM solutions out there that are being integrated with hosted PBX solutions, ERP solutions, and even Office applications as well, which is what we're going to get into a little bit later. There's server-side integrations where you're integrating with cell carriers as well, pushing Presence Application Suite, the Presence Application Suite, so that you could actually present when you're on the phone or off the phone, not only across platforms on the desktop, but you could also push that that busy off-hook status from your cell phone out to another business phone system or customer. So there's a lot of things that are happening with these different types of integrations with cloud technology that were essentially impossible to actually accomplish back in 2003 with premise-based systems. The price points are very affordable. So again, this is another driver to cloud-based phone systems. The suite of UC business VoIP applications, the idea to be in contact anytime, anywhere, on any device, whether it's a cell phone, a Droid, an iPhone, a Windows phone, an iPad, a desk phone, a soft phone on your desktop, whatever it is. The products that are available are hosted PBX products, call centers, virtual fax, geo-redundancy at the carrier level, integration with fax servers, reporting engines, and recording engines as well. So it really is, at this point, products like Broadworks are designed for a horizontal market, offering everything that the solutions back when they were premise-based, very flexible premise-based systems. Products like Broadworks offer everything that those offered and a lot more now. It's been a huge shift in the technology from a voice standpoint. In addition to that, there are companies out in the market now, like Microsoft, that have pushed their way into the communications space at a rapid pace and have done so in a fashion that is better than pretty much any IP PBX manufacturer out in the market. Their Microsoft Lync product, that's part of their Office 365 product offering. That includes the Office Suite, Hosted Exchange, SharePoint, and SkyDrive. Everything is completely cloud-based here in the Office 365 product offering, including Lync. The messaging, unified messaging feature set that Lync offers is extremely powerful. It offers the Presence Application Suite, so you can actually see when somebody's on the phone or not on the phone, when they're out of the office, when they're busy, or what have you. You can see that presence status not only within your own organization, but you can also see it across companies, across the country, across the world as well. So it really is very, very powerful. The additional collaboration feature set like mobility, instant messaging, streaming media, link-to-link, voice-over-IP calling, desktop sharing, that whole product offering is expandable and offered worldwide at a very, very affordable price as well. In addition to that, this point is really important. Microsoft is marketing this product so heavily that it's really making a big splash, and the take rate is very high with this product offering. You can't buy a laptop, a Windows-based laptop today without being marketed at Office 365. This application has been designed for the masses. It's affordable, it's platform independent, and from a cost standpoint, per user retail, you're looking at about $180 a year. So it's definitely a product that's priced very competitively out in the market. It's a very strong product offering. We use it internally here at Blue IP and have been for some time, and there really is nothing else out there like it, with the exception of Google. What Google has done in their Google Apps platform essentially is a competitor, a major competitor of Microsoft with their Lync product offering. Now, the major difference here that Google is actually focusing on is everything is browser-based. So it's a browser-based suite of applications, includes the Office or a competing Office suite of applications like your Excel, your Word. The competitor to Outlook would be Gmail. The competitor to SharePoint would be the Drive and application collaboration features, which are extremely strong in the Google space. They've made an aggressive push into the government space, schools and universities, and the business community as well. Google offers a free product offering to get a Gmail account to start out with. Once you move your domain over there, that's when the actual costs start to kick in. But businesses and new startups are migrating over to Google Apps at a very rapid pace. I do business with a lot of firms that are making a conscious effort to reduce costs within their organization, and the first thing that they're looking at is to migrate off of everything Microsoft. So all Microsoft applications are being migrated off to a Google product of some sort, as well as a hosted PBX product, and getting away from Microsoft's OCS platform. So it's certainly the low-cost alternative to Microsoft's product offering, and arguably has more features, and you get more for your money as well. So the suite, again, includes Gmail, Google Calendar, Drive, Docs, and Spreadsheets, Google Sites, and Google Hangouts. The other thing about this product offering is the distribution model is a very interesting one. The distribution model is one in which Google resellers and dealers are very into social media, and they really push a lot of their products through the social media medium itself. So the take rate on this is very high with a lot of startup companies, a lot of companies that are just getting started, companies that only have a couple of phones. The micro business community, small to medium-sized business community really takes towards these products. And then in addition to that, a lot of very, very large government institutions, state and federal municipalities are migrating over. There's a lot of universities that have built out their online application and online suite of distance learning applications, all based on products that are optimized for a Chrome browser and not an Internet Explorer browser. So with this, the adoption of this product has been really, really strong, and they're definitely taking their fair share of the market. The average per seat license on an annual basis is only $50 as opposed to Microsoft's $180. So you can kind of see where Google's positioning themselves, and it's certainly working, that's for sure. So if you take these three major applications, your Broadworks platform, Microsoft's Office 365 product offering or cloud-based offering, and Google's Google Apps cloud-based product offering, and look at, okay, how can these applications enable me to build a good, solid solution that is meaningful to an end customer? So here's the use case, and this is something that happens regularly for me, and I think for anybody who's investing in cloud technologies, they experience the power of a cloud-based system and the applications and features that go along with it in a manner similar to this. I was on the phone last week with a partner of mine that I just started doing business with. Now this partner has a premise-based phone system. It is an IP PBX that they've had on-prem for some time. One of the major challenges that they have is that they have a single point of failure with this on-prem system. If this system goes down, then they're dead in the water. And this is an integration firm that's very technical, and they offer some very technical solutions for their customers. They're a Google Apps as well as a Office 365 partner or Microsoft partner. And they've got a single point of failure with their phone system. So they're looking for a geo-redundant solution. So that is something that is provided by a cloud-based hosted PBX product like a Broadworks platform. Their current system is not maintained properly with upgrades and patches. They only have one individual within the organization that knows how to program it. If that individual doesn't come into work or separates from the company, then this firm is going to be in hot water. So again, a hosted-based Broadworks platform is maintained by the provider. The upgrades and patches are done on the back end, and the end customer never knows when they actually happen. The partner was looking for some integration with both Microsoft Lync and Google Apps. Again, a hosted PBX product does offer that. Broadworks specifically offers integration with Lync and Google Apps. The customer is really interested in getting some connectivity or broadband that is going to honor all of the quality of service tags and VoIP tags that are being pushed out from the phones. So only a provider can provide something like that, a provider that has direct connections with the underlying carriers and can provide a retail quote for broadband. The customer is going to reuse all their existing SIP-based phones. Back in 2003, if you're going to sell an Avaya phone system, with that phone system, you sold Avaya phones, and that's it. You weren't selling additional phones. You were always, IP-PBX manufacturers would try their best to keep you in their silo of products and sell you everything that had to do with that phone system. Now it's definitely a different game. We often have customers come to us that have 100 Cisco phones and they want to reuse their phones, or 100 Polycom phones and they want to reuse their phones. That's definitely something that we do on a regular basis. As I was talking to the contact over at this partner site, and we're talking about the deployment, we're talking about the proposal, she lets me know that there's a chance that they may get a free upgrade from Microsoft Lync Plan 2 to Microsoft Lync Plan 3. And she's curious about the licensing and about the different platform that she needs to actually do the integration. So we got on a conference bridge. I shared my desktop, and we started to discuss the proposal and the engineering of their solution. I was doing demonstrations of Microsoft Lync, showing her what she was going to get with the product. And she had some questions about her Lync deployment that I didn't have the answer to. So as soon as she started asking about that, my development partner out in Australia came online. I saw him in my Lync panel. His presence actually showed green, so I immediately IM'd him and asked him if he was able to get on a call to answer a couple of questions that I didn't have the answer to. I had my customer on my Polycom phone on my desk, and I was sharing my desktop, and I started a link-to-link call with my developer out in Australia. I posed the questions, he helped me with his answers, I provided them to the customer. We disconnected on the Lync call, and we finalized our conference call with my partner, and off she went. So now this was a perfect example of how cloud-based technologies are providing excellent solutions for end customers, and using technology to help individuals like myself work smarter and quicker and faster, and able to enhance the communication not only within my own organization, but across organizations as well, clear across the world. So when you start looking at these sorts of applications and these deployments, it's evident that these are multi-vendor solutions. When you're deploying a system similar to what I just explained, you may be working with BroadSoft, you could be working with products from Adtran, engineering the total solution with the Cisco PoE switch, Polycom phones. You may be working with a distributor like a NetX USA. You're providing broadband or connectivity through CenturyLink or Megapath, 360 networks. You may be integrating Office 365 from Microsoft, or even Google Apps from Google. Edge devices may be Panasonic phones. You might even have an ATA or something from Audio Codes, and using connectors from ESNA to connect your hosted PBX product with Google Apps. So once you start digging into these types of engineering solutions, it's evident that you really got to know your stuff, and you really got to understand how all these pieces fit together. So this is where the complexity comes in, because as a business person, the main thing that you've got to look at, it doesn't matter what type of solution you could actually put together. If you can't make money on it, then you're not going to be in business. So you may as well not even do the deal. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today in these future slides. So let's get into it. We've had the ability, and we're fortunate enough here at Blue IP, and in the position that I'm in, and my counterparts across the U.S., in that we work with a lot of different companies. We work with a lot of integration firms, with ISPs, with interconnects, with you name it. From a technology standpoint, we've been approached, and we've had the opportunity to work with a ton of different integration type firms, going to market with phone systems, or with looking for the ability to do it and have the desire to do it. And we've learned a lot. One thing that we do like to point out is the fact that as an integration firm, you have got to choose to standardize on a specific product offering. There's too many different applications out in the market to try to be a jack of all trades. You have got to master one. You've got to master a group of technologies that are going to enable you to build a good sound communication solution for your customers. So choose a product, master the product, become the best at it, learn it inside and out. That's the one single piece of advice, that if you don't have that, then you might as well forget it. You're going to end up spinning your wheels. Choose the product wisely. Focus on a product from a manufacturer that's got market share. If they've got a good market share, they likely have a good track record. Investigate their track record, get references, find out who's using their product, learn what the good things and the bad things are about that product. Make sure from a marketing standpoint that the manufacturer provider is building brand awareness so that people know who they are. And a company that chooses to invest in this sort of marketing efforts, they want to go to market. They want the responsibility to deploy systems. And choose a product that has a strong feature set as well. You need the ability to build a good sound solution for your customers, and with that, you need a good feature set. Choose a manufacturer or provider wisely. Some questions to ask yourself. Does the manufacturer provider support your sales, marketing, and engineering efforts? You can't do this on your own. You need to partner with a manufacturer provider that's willing to jump in there with you. And help you build solutions, help you go to market in all aspects of your business, sales, marketing, and engineering. Does the manufacturer do a good job selling its products and services on their own? Or when you talk to that manufacturer provider, is it like talking to a wall? I mean, is the provider excited about their solution? Is the provider good at presenting the selling points? Keep in mind, the way the provider actually sells the product offering to you is the way that you're going to turn around and sell it to your customers. So the message that you're receiving, is there a value add to that product offering? And if so, and if the manufacturer can present it to you properly, then you'll be able to present it to your customers as well. One of the main things, if you're an owner, don't try to be the engineer. If you're a very small firm and you're just getting started, make sure you choose to partner with a provider that knows this and can complement your efforts. The technologies are pretty complex, so if you're partnering with somebody that's not willing to do their part or willing to help you build a business with these products, then you've got the wrong provider. Keeping up with the technology is time consuming. It does take some testing. You need to do deployments. You need to become an expert at it. So again, you really need to spend the time and dedicate the amount of time necessary to learn the technology. Or make sure you choose a provider that's willing to work with you on that front. If you're an engineer or a sales engineer, you've got to become an expert at the technology. Engineers and sales engineers are looked at by the end customers and asked all the time to help them build efficiencies within their organization, help them do things better than the way they're currently doing them or the way they were doing them before. You've got to be able to identify and present good ideas, and with that, in order to do that, you need experience, you need to be an expert in the technology, and you need to understand their business as well, as much as you can. Learn how to demonstrate the product and engineer solutions that make sense for your customer. This definitely takes time. Demoing products in this space, cloud-based technologies, is not hard to do. It's something that you can certainly do. Again, these are all software-based applications, so it's very easy to share your desktop and show them how you use the system on a regular basis, or show them based on the way you do business, Mr. Customer, here's how I think that this solution that we use is going to help you. So you want to be able to demonstrate the product. It's going to enable you to show the value of the product and convey that to the customer. And you could do it remotely as well. Choose a provider or manufacturer that's willing to do their part. What I mean by that is look at the provider and ask if does the provider actually work at building and engineering multi-vendor solutions themselves? Are they good at it? If they are good at it and they do a fine job at it, then they have the right to ask you to do it as well. If they don't and they take a hands-off approach and just throw products over the fence and leave you on your own, then that might not be the right provider to work with. If you're being asked to sell a product by a provider, then make sure that the provider knows how to support you. If they don't know the product themselves, then it's just it'll get messy. Selling a solution is easy. Deploying it, making sure that the customer is happy and maintain the customer, that's a little bit more challenging. You could find anybody out there to sell, but you've got to have happy customers. That's how you get referrals, and that's how you upsell that customer more products than just voice solutions. Learn how to sell all aspects of the technology yourself and your company. This is a must. You've got to be good at selling the technology. You've got to be good at selling yourself as well as your firm. You need to be able to get excited about your solution and convey that to the customer. And then most importantly, you've got to provide remarkable customer service. If you're not willing to make the time to provide good, strong customer service to a paying customer, then you might as well not be in the business. Again, this is very, very important. We at Blue IP really focus on this, and this is something our partners rely on us a lot. They lean on us a lot, and that's okay. As long as they're doing their part, we'll work right next to them and help them build their business. This is extremely, extremely important. So with that, those are some bits of advice that we have identified over the many years of doing this. If we look at an actual hypothetical solution here, a 35-user insurance company that has a 10-agent call center, and they've got a need to upgrade their Microsoft Office and their Exchange. Say they've got an old Exchange server that is on its last leg, or it just needs to be upgraded. Immediately when you look at this application here, and it's just that, it's in a nutshell, this is what you're looking at for a typical customer. With that, you've got an underlying provider, like maybe a CenturyLink. You've got Polycom for the phones. You've got, let's say, Blue IP as the host PBX provider. You've got Cisco for a PoE switch, Microsoft with their Office 365 product offering. You've got a Lync connector to connect Microsoft Lync to the Blue IP phone system. You might have some smartphones out there running Droid, and maybe an Adtran, an IAD out deployed. So immediately you already have a good book of manufacturers to build a solution with. And so let's see how this would actually shake out. So if we take the 35-user insurance company and we look at the hardware sale, from a hardware perspective, this customer may need a router. They may need 2 PoE switches, 24-port PoE switches. They they'll need 35 phones, and let's say they need a little bit of infrastructure. Let's say there's some cables, $200 worth of infrastructure. If you mark all that stuff up, and let's say you take a little bit of a markup here, there's not a lot of margin in hardware. This will bring your unit cost here based on the quantities to these figures here under unit cost, extension unit cost. And with the sale price in this column here, let's look at total. So your total extended unit cost is about $8,900 in routers, PoE switches, phones, and infrastructure, miscellaneous cables and jacks and whatnot. The sale price on this would be about $12,200, making a dollar margin of $3,292, or 27 points of margin for this group of hardware for this sale. Now, if you loop in the actual professional services or the installation costs and labor charges for a call center, if you're doing call centers, this is an excellent opportunity to charge for professional services. We'd say about 16 hours to actually charge a customer to evaluate what they're doing currently, establish how they want their inbound call progression to be like, what greetings they want played, how many times they want greetings played, do they want custom greetings, do they want to zero out of the queue, so on and so forth. A lot of times customers don't know the answer to this, and they're looking to you to actually present the solution to them. With that, you can charge them for that. There's a lot of margin in professional services. Let's say for Office 365, you've got a similar scenario here. So here are the margins, total margins for your professional services. You're looking at a dollar margin of about $5,088, about 71 points of margin. So if you take your total NRCs, or non-recurring charges, for this deployment, you're looking at about $11,000 in cost, about $19,000 in revenue. Dollar margins a little bit over $8,000, or about 43% margin, which is pretty good margin for non-recurring charges. And these charges are definitely feasible for a company of this size, and with a call center and with the application side of it as well, meaning upgrading their exchange to Office 365. If we look at the monthly recurring charges for this solution, it'll be the seat licenses for the hosted PBX, the call center licenses, and Office 365. So the software licenses are monthly recurring for some sort of term, whether that be a 12, 24, 36-month term. You'll be making about $528 in margin on those licenses per month, and which equates to about 30 points of margin. Pretty good margin on the software licenses. The Office 365 licenses are relatively low margin versus that of the telecom, call center, and hosted PBX licenses, just the nature of the business. If you extend the non-recurring charges, that's professional services and hardware, and you assume that as an integration firm, you're going to be doing about 2 35-user systems per month, to push this out and look at the figures over a year span. You're going to be looking at, what I did here was I just multiplied the unit costs and extended sale price by 24 to represent 2 systems per year or per month. And this is the way the numbers actually shake out. So your margin is going to be about $201,000 on the non-reoccurring if you do 2 35-user systems per month over the span of a year. That's not bad margin at all on the non-recurring side, $200,000 or 43 points of margin. The idea that you really want to focus on, and I hear this from a lot of partners, is kind of morphing their business or to continue running their business based on monthly reoccurring, and they want to use the non-recurring charges to kind of feed the fire, to complement their monthly reoccurring revenue that they've got coming into their business. if we expand the monthly reoccurring over the course of a year, this is the way the numbers look. So you'll be looking at about 12,660 in annual margin in dollars, or about 30 points of margin if you're doing 235 user system sales per month, or some sort of combination of that. Let's say you're doing a couple 10 user systems, or you get a 150 user system. Overall, over the span of the year, if you're doing about 235 user systems per month, then your figures are going to calc out something really close to this. So now let's look at everything together. So your annual non-reoccurring, here are your figures here. This is essentially from the last slide. Your annual monthly reoccurring, again, over the span of a year, selling 235 user systems per month. And here are the figures as well. And here's the blended margin of monthly recurring and non-reoccurring charges over the course of 1 year. When you actually pull these down and add them together to calc out your blended margin, you're looking at about an extended unit cost of about $294,000. Annually, you're looking at about $508,000 as your top line revenue, and your margin in dollars is about $213,000 or 42 points of margin. Not a bad business to be in, especially if you're just looking at this over the course of a year. So definitely something to look at. Definitely something that I think is very advantageous. And if you can build this up or continue to maintain these sorts of margins in your firm, you're going to be running a pretty successful business, or you're going to continue to run a successful business. With that, if you, in the course of doing deals like this and engineering solutions like this, you focus on additional applications and selling additional applications like CRMs or ERP solutions. There's a lot of margin in this stuff, and there's a lot of professional services margin in the additional applications that you can layer on for customers as well. Look at customizing and in integrating hosted PBX and let's say Office 365 or even Google Apps into a CRM application, doing screen pops or click-to-dial capabilities or something like that. Customizing applications using the APIs. Hosted PBX solutions, especially Broadworks, has a very, very strong extended API platform that basically publishes all the APIs to the development community. Selling additional Microsoft or Google products. Every time I turn around, Microsoft is releasing a new product. Some of them are novelties, but others are great applications. Something to definitely look at for your customers and to get up to speed with if you're not up to speed already. Broadband. Every customer needs connectivity. They need internet connection. They need good quality of service as well. And you want to be able to go to market with that. There's good margin in broadband. Physical security and surveillance. There's a lot of partners out there that maybe they haven't considered offering a physical security and surveillance, but it's an excellent complement. It's all IP based and maybe right, in your wheelhouse as far as a skill set, and your techs may be able to pick it up really easily and quickly. Maintenance contracts on router management. This is your classic maintenance contract. There's a lot of end customers out there that don't have the skill set to maintain the routers. The network, a LAN and a WAN are constantly changing with additional applications that customers are rolling out, or IT directors are rolling out, and they have no idea how they're going to impact the voice side of their business. So selling maintenance contracts, customers are willing to pay $300 a month. They're willing to pay more, maybe a little bit less. That's great margin, maintenance contracts. Router and phone rental. We have a lot of partners that are choosing to to use the phones and take a loss for the first 10 months on the phones or even on a router or a switch. But after the 10th month, they're in the money. And everything after that is pure profit. The router has been paid for, the phones have been paid for through the rental process from the customer, and everything after that is pure profit on that phone piece. So a lot of times customers are being signed up for 12, 24, and 36-month term. So anything after the 10th month, you're in the money. So that's a great strategy there. Backup and disaster recovery services, another very high margin product offering. Smartphone integration and soft phone integration. You're going to have one of these, or the ability or the question to integrate your smartphones and soft phones on every single deployment that you have, or at least 99% of them. People are wondering how their smartphone is going to integrate with their new phone system. iPad integration, same thing. Consulting and professional services, very high margin stuff. You have a ton of experience today consulting and identifying how a company can use communication, unified communications to enhance the way their employees are working, build efficiencies within their organization, provide those, use those, they're very valuable, charge for it. So if you're doing all this along with selling these unified communication solutions, you're running a pretty good business and a pretty high margin business as well. So, again, the idea is the monthly reoccurring revenue. If it's done right, it's definitely a beautiful thing. We've worked with a lot of organizations, myself and my counterparts across the nation, and we've worked with a lot of firms, even prior to 2000 and in the mid to late 90s, companies that were going to market, integration firms, data integration firms, or what have you. The shift, or the firms that have successfully made the shift over to recurring revenue, not only recurring revenue, but cloud-based technologies, it really has turned out to be an excellent strategy for them. And customers are really calling them and asking them how they're going to cloud enable their technology, because they just want to get all those boxes out and migrate over to a monthly recurring model. So with this huge shift in strategy, just to kind of recap, if we take a look at the typical deal that we talked about way back in 2003, where you were selling a solution at about $1,000 per seat. If you multiply that out and say, okay, we're going to sell 2 of those systems per month over the course of a year, in total, top-line revenue is going to be about $840,000. Dealer margin over the course of a year is going to be about $294,000. So if I just pull those figures down to this view here, or this table here, this is essentially what that business looks like selling the 2003 technology. It's about 35 points of margin, not bad margin, that's for sure. But the challenge here's the biggest challenge. This is all non-recurring revenue. Again, I'll say it again, all non-recurring revenue. In order to stay in business, this integration firm has got to sell 2 of those systems every single month, or some combination of them. And that's hard to do. The beauty of cloud-based technology and monthly recurring revenue is that if we take the figures that we just calced out in the hypothetical with a 35-user insurance firm, our margin here is, let's say, it's not as much as a 2003 example. The margin there is about $294,000. With ours, it's about $213,000. But here's the good news. The good news is the margin is higher. The margin is higher than that of the 2003 premise-based solutions, not going to market with cloud-based solutions. And if you were to increase the amount of sales that you had, you would quickly get to that margin of $294,000. And you get to it pretty quick because, again, you're working at a higher margin on that product offering or those suite of products. So you got a higher margin. Another positive thing about this is that 10% of that top line revenue is reoccurring. It's a term commitment, a 12, 24, 36-month term commitment, which is extremely valuable. Over the course of not only 1 year, but years 3, 4, and 5, with the same strategy, you're really going to be cooking. You're going to be making about 42 points of margin. You're going to be selling additional services. You're going to get better and better at it. And it's just a better way of not only offering the technology, but also running a business as well. The upsell opportunities are much more abundant than they were back in 2003 because of the fact that everybody is doing cloud-based solutions and everybody is publishing APIs to exchange data and information with each other. No matter who the manufacturer is, there's always an API and something that you as a partner integration firm can look at to do some custom integration work and make good money doing it. That concludes our presentation on unified communications and how to make money on unified communications. Again, I really appreciate your attendance. Please keep an eye out for our next webinar in the series. We've got some very exciting topics, some on the marketing side, some on the go-to-market side, and some on the engineering side as well. So again, we really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great and successful day. Thank you very much.